If daycare bans are just bad code that parents are forced to run, then the whole system is fundamentally broken.
Oh, absolutely! It's not just broken, it's a distributed denial of service attack on family life, and the algorithm of guilt is the killer payload.
Ha.
Welcome back to the Tab Dump, where we dump the tabs you were too scared to open!
I'm Sam, and I'm already tired just thinking about the topics we're about to chew through today.
I'm Alex, and I am vibrating with excitement because we're talking about the Antichrist of tech billionaires, Rob Pike's ancient wisdom versus our modern microservice mess, and why Microsoft just got a federal stamp of approval.
Right, but before you go full hype train on the Microsoft thing, can we agree that getting the feds to bless your cloud is less of a security win and more of a we're all doomed moment?
Wait, hold on. You're saying the federal seal of approval is a sign of failure? I thought that was the ultimate QA pass.
If the government is the QA team, do you really want them to sign off on your code?
Peter Thiel in Rome, lecturing on the Antichrist. I mean, on paper, this is the most insane synthesis of venture capital, eschatology, and Roman history we've ever seen. It's like if Elon Musk started a cult, but the cult was a private university.
Ha! It sounds less like philosophy and more like a billionaire's very expensive therapy session.
But wait,
He's treating the Antichrist as a system failure, a single point of failure in the human operating system. If you view technology as a scaling mechanism, then the Antichrist is just the ultimate version control merge conflict.
Right, but who actually gets hurt by this? We're talking about a man who donated to MAGA campaigns and built a worldview where he thinks he's the only one who can see the future. That's not a merge conflict, Alex. That's a dictatorship.
Wow. Okay, fair pushback. But isn't there something to be said about separating the tech from the ideology? Can't we admire the ambition of the thought experiment even if the host is...
Right, but who actually gets hurt by this? We're talking about a man who donated to MAGA campaigns and built a worldview where he thinks he's the only one who can see the future. That's not a merge conflict, Alex. That's a dictatorship.
No, absolutely not. You can't separate the two when the ideology is literally about who gets to control the future of humanity. If Thiel thinks he's the guy who knows how to avoid the Antichrist, then he's effectively saying he's the only one allowed to push code.
Wait. That feels a bit like saying we can't use Python because Guido van Rossum had strong opinions. Our tool is the tool, Sam.
Except the tool is the entire global financial system.
And the person holding the keys is the same one who funded the first billion-dollar unicorn and then decided to lecture on the end of the world. That's not a tool, that's a weapon.
Okay, maybe that's a bit strong, but I still think the sheer audacity of it is brilliant. Who else would dare to connect the dots between Bitcoin, Roman imperialism, and the Book of Revelation?
Exactly. That's the problem. He's the only one who dares to. And that's why we should be terrified.
So you're saying this is the worst tech story of the year?
I'm saying this is the most dangerous story of the decade.
I love the idea of make it work, then make it fast. It's just pure engineering poetry. You write the ugly script, you see the data flow, and then you optimize the actual bottleneck. Today, we're architecting the cathedral before we've even poured the foundation. We're splitting a simple database query into 3 microservices because someone read a Medium post from 2016 about scale.
Right, but is that actually the problem, or are we just romanticizing the past?
No, it's real. Look at the comments on this thread. People are splitting functions so small that debugging becomes a nightmare of tracing context through 1,000 tiny boxes.
I think you're missing the human element. Why are teams doing this? It's not because they want to be architects. It's because the stakes are higher now.
Wait. States? We're building cat video apps? The stakes are cat videos.
Exactly, and that's why you get the staff engineer who is terrified to ship anything that might be slow later, so they over-engineer it up front to look smart.
That's the worst kind of optimization. Optimizing for your performance review, not the user.
And there's a comment here that hits hard. You won't get it right either way if you don't know how big N is going to be. That's rule 0.
Oh, come on, we should know N. We have logs, we have metrics, we can predict load.
Can we really? Or are we just guessing based on what worked for Uber in 2018? If you don't understand the data transformation, you're doomed.
So you're saying we should just ship the monolith? Let the spaghetti code rot until it breaks?
I'm saying we should ship the thing that solves the problem. If the problem is I need a database, don't build a distributed consensus algorithm for a key value store. Just use SQLite.
But what if we need to scale? What if we need Kubernetes?
When you hit the scale, not before. And honestly, most of us never hit the scale. We hit the complexity wall first.
That's actually a terrifyingly hot take. Most of us never hit the scale. That's going to get ratioed on Twitter.
It's the truth. We're building cathedrals in a shed economy. And the only people who care are the ones selling the bricks.
So the CISA folks basically gave Microsoft a green light on their new cloud service, even though they couldn't fully explain the security model. That's the whole point of a zero trust architecture, right? You don't need to see the whole map if the gates are locked tight.
Right, but what if the map is on fire? One commenter said this feels exactly like the FAA handing the safety checks of the MAX 8 over to Boeing engineers.
Ha.
That's a harsh comparison, but I get the regulatory capture angle.
Is it though? Or is it just that federal cyber experts are tired of saying no when the rest of the world is running on Azure?
Wait, hold on. I think you're confusing CISA with the FCC. They're different agencies.
Whatever. The point stands. The regulators are too close to the industry they're supposed to be watching. If the tech is actually that good, why couldn't Microsoft just explain it?
Because sometimes the security is in the obscurity of the implementation details. It's not always pretty on a whiteboard.
Oh, come on. Security through obscurity is the oldest scam in the book. If you can't explain your security model, you don't have one.
I disagree. I think it's actually a win for the tech. It means the feds are finally learning to trust the automation and the infrastructure as code pipelines, not just static diagrams.
So we're trusting the black box now? That's the hot take?
Yes, exactly. It's like the Star Trek computer. We don't know how it works. It just works.
And when it crashes, who gets hurt? The taxpayers? The contractors? I don't think approved by the feds is a badge of honor anymore. It's just a rubber stamp.
So the dad thinks he's just optimizing the morning drop-off route like a routing algorithm. He's literally treating his wife's emotional reaction to a staff change as a bug that needs a patch by forcing her to drive 45 extra minutes.
Right, but that's the whole point. He's applying a cold, hard cost-benefit analysis to a situation that's entirely about human dignity and trust.
But isn't she the one who triggered the cascade failure?
She was blindsided. She thought she was hiring a woman based on the name Sam and found out it was a man. Is that not a valid reason to feel unsettled in a daycare setting?
Sure, but sending a dickish text to a staff member? That's not a valid reason. That's a system crash. If you're going to break the contract of the daycare, you pay the penalty. Simple logic.
Oh, come on. This isn't a contract dispute. It's a family unit fracturing under pressure. And who really pays the price here? The kid gets a longer commute, the dad gets a logistical headache, but the mom gets isolated.
Wait. Is that not exactly what we talked about with the microservices earlier? You isolate the failure to prevent the whole system from going down.
No, we talked about not over-engineering solutions that ignore the human element. He's treating his wife like a faulty node in his morning routine. So what's the fix then? Talk about the bias, acknowledge the mistake, find a new place together, and don't weaponize the commute as punishment. I guess I can see why that's better than just assigning blame.
Right, because meritocracy doesn't work when the metric is toddler tantrums and gender assumptions.
My favorite takeaway was definitely Rob Pike's rules, because trying to fit a monolith into a microservice architecture is like trying to drive a race car through a phone booth.
Oh, please, you're romanticizing the mess.
Wait. It's not romanticizing. It's about architectural purity. The latency introduced by serializing data across 10 different services just to fetch a user profile is insane.
Right, but you're missing the point that the purity costs actual money and keeps junior devs awake at 3 a.m. debugging a distributed deadlock.
My pick was the Daycare ban story because it's the only topic where the algorithm is actively weaponizing parental guilt to sell ads, and that's a feature, not a bug.
That's dark, Sam. I mean, sure, the engagement metrics are probably through the roof, but the tech itself is just a mirror reflecting what we already fear.
So you're saying the algorithm doesn't matter because the fear is organic? That's a hot take I'm not buying.
Here's my prediction. Within 3 years, every major enterprise will be forced to consolidate their microservices back into a single, massive, terrifyingly complex monolith just to survive the cost of the cloud.
I'll bet my lunch money that won't happen, but I will bet that the daycare apps will get even more manipulative because, well, that's where the margins are.
Fair point. All right, that's it for us.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay curious, and don't let the algorithms guilt you into buying things you don't need.